What is happening in our real estate market here in Los Angeles? Interest rates are up. We haven't been seeing the drop everyone's promising, but yet there's some more inventory. But are we on the verge of collapse? Stay tuned. I've got all that information for you, as well as some very key stats that will help you have a full understanding as to what's happening here in our local Los Angeles real estate market. Hi, I'm Corrie Sommers, your local Los Angeles realtor. Today we're going to go over our monthly market report. This is designed to help you understand what's happening in our real estate market here in Los Angeles and really to give you facts and information so that you can make a decision as to if this is the right time to sell your home, or if you are buying a home, if you should be out there pulling the trigger. Before I want to get into some raw numbers as to what's happening, I want to discuss a couple of things. Right now, we have been seeing high interest rates. They have been continuing to tick up. I had a client that was purchasing a home, and from the time we looked at it and began negotiations, his interest rate went up a whole point. And because of that, what was the result was the bank was willing to lend him less money. Fortunately for him, he had more money to come in with, but not everybody is in that same situation. So these interest rates are a little tricky, but people are still buying a home and people are most definitely still selling a home. But here's one of the things I've been observing here in Los Angeles. If you are someone that is looking for new construction and you're looking in the 3 million plus price range, homes are taking longer to sell, and builders are starting to do some price reductions. We're seeing price reductions anywhere from a couple $100,000 to just, I would say $200,000 to $400,000. I still think that if a home has been sitting on the market for a while and there hasn't been any budge, and you are a buyer that is ready, willing, and able to go, you should really think about strategy of writing a little bit of a lower price offer right now, because builders are starting to move that needle just a little bit. Overall, we are still in a seller's market here in Los Angeles. And if you've watched my previous market reports, you know I track 5 key facts and statistics that help us to really get a full understanding and a full picture of what's happening in our Los Angeles market. So we're going to cover some areas in the San Fernando Valley as well as the West Side, and just total what's happening overall in Los Angeles. So first up, in the month of April, overall in Los Angeles, we had 46,571 homes on the market for sale. That was up from the month prior, which was 42,850. So that was a little bit less than an extra 4,000 homes of inventory available for people to buy. Let's kind of break this down into smaller increments. In Toluca Lake, there were 27 homes available on the market. Studio City had 111. Sherman Oaks was 195, followed by Encino with 168 homes available for sale in the market. As we move over into the Hill in Santa Monica, it was 86 homes on the market. Brentwood was 113, followed by Beverly Hills at 116. Now, the next point that I like to go over is how many days did it take for a property to sell or really go into escrow, because the sale is not final until escrow is closed. So in Toluca Lake, that was 28 days. In Studio City, it was 30 days. Sherman Oaks was 35. Encino was 30. Santa Monica was 23 days, which kind of seems about right. I sold a condo over there recently. Brentwood 17 and Beverly Hills 48. Now, if you've been watching these videos, you will have noticed that Beverly Hills typically takes longer to sell. That has a lot to do with the price points. So the next stat or information we're going to go over is the demand, and this is how many properties are currently for sale in the escrow process in these particular areas. So in Toluca Lake, it's 8 homes. Studio City is 29. Sherman Oaks is 45. Encino is 40. Santa Monica is 25, Brentwood is 22, and Beverly Hills is 15. Now, when you compare that number to the amount of homes on the market, that lets you know a little bit about activity. Let's talk inventory year over year. So last year in April of 2023, there was 38,122 homes available throughout Los Angeles that were for sale. This April of 2024, again, it was 46,572 homes available for sale. This is up 22%. In Toluca Lake, April of 2023, it was 13 homes. Toluca Lake, April of 2024, that was 17 homes. That's up, I'm sorry, not 17, 27 homes. And that's up 107%. So Toluca Lake really has had a surge of inventory, if you will, but the numbers are so much lower than other places. Bear in mind, I have a video on Toluca Lake, actually a couple videos. It is a much smaller part of Los Angeles, so these numbers are all relative. In Studio City in April of 2023, there were 96 homes on the market. In Studio City in April of 2024, that was 111. So that's up about 15%. In Sherman Oaks in April of 2023, it was 143 homes on the market. Sherman Oaks, April of 2024, that's 111. 195, that's up 36%. That's actually a pretty significant movement in my opinion. And then we look right next door into Encino. And so in April of 2023, Encino had 162 homes on the market, but April of 2024, it was only 168. So that's not a lot of movement. It's only really 3%. As you look through the valley, you find that Studio City has, a real consistent amount, but as you move over to Sherman Oaks and Encino, it always kind of ticks upwards, and Encino always tends to have a little more. So this has stayed following suit. There's been no changes there. As we move to the other side of Los Angeles into the basin and the west side, Santa Monica in 2023 in April of 2023 had 89 homes on the market. April of 2024, we saw 86. That was actually down by 3%. Which I found interesting. It's the only part of all these areas that we're tracking that was actually in reverse. Brentwood in April of 2023 had 96 homes on the market, and then Brentwood in April of 2024 was 113, so it's up 17%. Beverly Hills in April of 2023 had 93 homes on the market, whereas Beverly Hills in April of 2024 was at 116, so that was up 24%. Now, one of the big things that I think shows what's happening in our market is the amount of price reductions we have. And so that's been very important to track as well. So in the month of April, for Toluca Lake, there were 9 price reductions. Studio City had 17, Sherman Oaks 24, Encino 17, Santa Monica 8, Brentwood had 12, and Beverly Hills had 20. So really, you want to look at the number of price reductions versus the amount of inventory on the market. That tells you a story. We're not seeing like these crazy declines. And as I mentioned earlier, some of the price reductions I'm actually seeing right now are in the higher end, and it is mostly new construction. That's not to say some homes aren't coming down in price if they've been on the market a while and they're not brand new. But the movement and the amount and the percentage is fairly low compared to everything else. So hopefully this information has been helpful to you. If you have been considering selling your home and not really sure if this is the best time, keep in mind we are now in May. It's about to be summertime. People with families tend to make those moves during the summer so that they can be settled for the new school year. And as you're well aware, we have a lot of highly desirable schools throughout Los Angeles, both in the San Fernando Valley and in the LA Basin, especially in the Beverly Hills area. So it's something to think about. And if you are in the market to buy a home, I just want to say something here, and I keep reading this over and over again, how in 1971 the interest rate was at 7.33%, but if people would have waited to buy a home, they wouldn't have purchased a home until the 90s. Homes in the 70s were so much cheaper. Don't focus on your interest rate. Really talk to your loan officer to see what your purchasing power is. Focus on what that payment is. Buy a home that is allowing you to handle that payment. And guess what? The day interest rates dip a little bit, you can refinance. That'll give you a pool of money that you are able to save on your payment. You can use that to make extra payments on your home and pay your home off faster, or put it in a separate bank account. I am a huge fan of having multiple bank accounts so that you can have very specific pockets of savings. Put it in that extra savings account so that you can start working towards your next purchase, or maybe home repairs or updates that you need to, or another type of an investment. If you have any questions, if you want to get on my calendar just to have a quick conversation, just to really kind of feel things out in terms of where you're at. Maybe you're thinking about selling, but you think you need to do some things to your home and you want to have a talk about that and then schedule something later down the road. We absolutely can do that. My link to my calendar is below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you just want to track the progression of the money you are growing in your equity in your home, I have a link that you can actually sign up and receive a complimentary, no obligation monthly wealth update. I think that's very important. I track it myself and it really is helpful. I have a condo that I rent out and I actually have a listing coming up in that neighborhood as well soon. So if you're thinking about investing, we should talk as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back next week with another video, plus next month, another market report.